Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tourmaline Valentine and this is a day in the life of Mrs. Valentine. So for our first video ever, I'm going to tell you guys the story of how my husband and I met. And while I do that, I'm also going to show you guys how I did my hair because I literally did my hair today as I was telling this story. It took me about 9 hours and my head is hurting because I used the rubber band method. But thank you so much for being here and I hope you enjoy our love story. The style that I'm doing is just braids, but it's going to be the same hairstyle that I had on when my husband and I first met on our first date, because we would be reminiscing about how we first met and stuff, and he's always like, oh my god. So we met at like a restaurant after we've been talking on a dating app, and he was like, oh, I walked in and you looked so beautiful, you had like the gold things in your hair, and I thought that was so cute, and I was like stop it, oh baby. Anywho, so I'm doing this because I am taking him out on a surprise date on February 3rd, because that's the day he proposed to me. I don't know if he's like in the room. But I wanted to have the same hairstyle that I had when we first met. I don't have the same outfit. I don't know if I can find it, but I want to kind of like recreate that moment a little bit, just like to make it extra special. But I don't think I need to have the same outfit. I think like the hair will be basically like, I think he will love it very much. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to recreate that hairstyle. But I did it very specifically that time. So it's not just my regular braids. They were really well parted. And so I have to like try and do that, So, but talking about how my husband and I met. So a few things. One thing that I thought was so surreal was that we share a birthday, right? And when we met, we matched on a dating app and we spoke for like a week or so, and then we kind of like stopped talking. The conversation just fiddled away as it usually does. And so I was like, oh well. But then one day randomly I messaged him and I was like, so when are we going on a date? And I don't know. I was just like, when are we going on a date? And he was like, oh, let's go for dinner at this like sushi place. It was way further away from where I lived than where he lived. And I didn't care for sushi at the time. I still don't care for sushi that much. But but I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's go, sure. And so we went. Our first date was on the 26th of June. And so we had a really good date. When I first met him, I was like, oh my God, you look like Jon Snow. But I don't like Jon Snow, right? So I kept telling him, like, you have such a punchable face like Jon Snow. And he was like, that is such a weird thing to say on a first date, which was red flag number one, baby. You should have clocked it back then, but you locked in now, so no backsies. So we went to a restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name because they're not paying me for promo. But we went to this restaurant and we had a really good time. They had this bone marrow that they brought with this like bread. Oh my God. I feel like we bonded over just how amazing that food is. And then they had these lamb chops. Guys, they were so good. Those lamb chops were bomb. And I was just like, what? They tasted like braai. Like I was like, these lamb chops taste like what lamb chops at home would taste like. They were really, really good. Like, I went back to that restaurant by myself a few times just to order the lamb chops and the bone marrow. It is insane. So I wore like all black with the long braids with the gold things in my hair, and I wore heels. Do not wear heels on a first date, guys. You gotta leave that for like, oh wait, you look like this in heels, because then he'll expect you to wear heels all the time. I wore heels. And so after dinner, we're like, oh, let's go for a walk. because it was kind of like in a nice area. So we're going for a walk, and I'm going for this walk in heels. Yeah. So we went for a walk, and I was like, you know what? I can do it. So we kept going, and we had a really nice conversation. We had really nice talk. It just felt so natural, and eventually we walked back to the restaurant because I don't drive. I'm a passenger princess for life, baby. We walked back to the restaurant. I called my Uber. He waited there until my Uber got there, and then because it was the first date, I didn't want him to like know where I lived. And so I got home. I was like, hey, I had a really good time. He texted me. He's like, oh, let me know when you get home safe. And then I did. And I was like, I had a really good time. And so he texts me the next day and he's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what plans do you have? And I was like, oh, so the next day is the 27th of June. I was like, tomorrow is my birthday. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe like go out with some friends. And he texts me back, like, no way, tomorrow is my birthday. And I was like, okay, look, you don't have to impress me anymore. Okay, I think you're hot. I like you. So like you don't. And he's like, no, I'm serious. It's my birthday too. And so I think he sends me like a copy, like a picture of his driver's license. It was so bizarre. I was like, what are the chances that we have the same birthday? He's obviously like 2 years older than me, but we're both born on the 28th of June. And I was like, what? So it just felt very much like fate, you know? And we kept talking, going out on dates. While we're not exclusive, we're literally just like exclusively going out on dates together. And it was so, I didn't feel like I had to, impress him or like pretend to be somebody else. Everything kind of just came very organic. I was just very comfortable. He was also just very comfortable. And it was just, oh, guys. Anywho, that's the funniest thing that happened. And we think about it now and we're just like, I cannot believe that happened, right? So on our third date, I believe, husband then boyfriend came to pick me up from my apartment so we could go on a date. And my apartment has two entrances, right? So he tells me he's at one of the entrances, but there's no key code for you to like put in to enter the apartment complex. And so I told him, oh, you have to drive around and come through the other entrance. And so the entrance that he was at has two gates, one for exit, one for entry, and you're not allowed to enter through the exit gate. And so the exit gate opened and he thought, oh, he could just go through that. There was no sign that says you can't enter through it. So he just went through it. But it had like sharp stakes kind of on the ground that will pop your car tires if you went through the exit gate. Oh my God. So his car tire burst. This was like our third date. So, and so he calls me and he's like, oh, I went through, but like something happened. So I went to meet him and one of his tires had burst. Thank God it was just one because it could have been all of them. So he had to change his car tire. And so he was doing that and like he was getting super sweaty. And so I kind of like stood there with him just to like kind of just, stand there with him while he changes the tire. And he was so embarrassed. And like, so he was like sweaty and like I was getting bit by mosquitoes. And it was just such a ridiculous thing that happened. He hates when I tell the story, by the way. But I find it so funny. So eventually we changed the tire. Thank God it was just one tire, which he forgot, like right in the parking lot of my apartment complex, by the way. He forgot it there. And we still ended up going to the movies. His shirt was a bit sweaty, so I think, I can't remember if like, I don't know if we ended up like getting him a different shirt. I don't think so. Girl, oh, it hides all. I love this man. But we ended up going to the movie, and that was actually the day we had our first kiss. So we were in the movie theater. I can't remember what movie we were watching, and So we're like sitting, right? And he asked like if he could oh my god. So he asked if he can put his hand, like if he can hold my hand in the during the movie. And I was like, yeah. But oh my god, I had like shivers down my spine. I was so nervous. Why? I don't know, but I was like, I got such like a chill down my spine. I was like, yeah, you can. So he held my hand, and then and then when we got out of the theater, we're walking and we're like holding hands, and it was so, I don't know, I just never like felt that way, you know? So it was just like, I was so nervous and stuff. And then when we were getting back to the car, for the record, he like opens the car door for me every single time. I feel like it's something I mentioned like on our first date or something. So he comes to open the car door for me to get in the car, and then we had like our first kiss or whatever. Anywho, so by then I think we were still kind of like casually dating, right? We weren't like exclusive yet, but even though we were not exclusive, neither of us were like still going out on dates with other people or like talking to other people. So we became exclusive on October 26th of that same year. So we had been casually dating since June when we met, and then became exclusive on October 26th. Um, yeah, that's oh my god. Okay, that's basically it. So this is 2021, and then 2022 we're dating. I met his family 2022, or I can't remember. Yeah, I think I met his family on 2022 on Father's Day. Oh my god, I remember. I met his family 2022 for Father's Day, and he was like, "Well, it's a good time for you to meet everybody because then it won't be like, you know, a big deal. You know, it won't be focused on you primarily." So I met his family, which he comes from a really big family. I come from a big family, which he's not even ready for yet because he's yet to meet my family in person. Um, and then in 2023, so this whole time he's living with his dad, right? So in 2023, we're kind of like, we start talking about homes and just like start having future conversations about our future, etc. And we start to just casually looking on Zillow, be like, "Oh, look at this," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, don't like get a double story house. I got bad knees." But hold on, before we go there, 2022 December, we do like a couples getaway. So we wanted to go away for just like 3 nights, 4 days, 3 nights, and we found this resort on the outskirts of Orlando, and we're like, "Oh, that's really nice." So we wanted to go there, and so we went there. And on our drive there, because it's not that far, we just drove. My stomach was hurting, right? But I didn't think much of it. I was like, "Oh, it's just hurting. It's gonna go away." And we get to the resort, we check in, and my stomach is still hurting. And like as the night goes, it just keeps getting worse. Like it got so worse. Like I was throwing up and I was crying. And guys, stressful, right? So eventually we had to go to the emergency room. And I was in the emergency room for 8 hours. Like nothing worked. They gave me all pain medication. They gave me opioids and nothing worked. They gave me morphine. They gave me oxycodone. They gave me something else that's like a liquid that um, that's supposed to numb like wherever it goes through, and it didn't work. So I was there for 8 hours, and they had to discharge me because they're like, "There's nothing we can do, so we're going to refer you to a gastroenterologist." So he was with me in the hospital for 8 hours, and then we went home, and I got prescribed like a lot of medication. He would drive out to go and fill these medications. Guys, he was so amazing. And I swear at that point I was like, this man is gonna leave me, and I completely understand because that's a lot. But he didn't. So um eventually, like, I ended up having to have an endoscopy with a gastroenterologist, and it was just like gastritis because I was taking a lot of pain medication for my knee pain. But so 2023 June, I moved in with him and his dad, and we're like, well, I'm already paying this much in rent, so why not just save that, and then we can like save up to get a house. We're just dating at this point, right? We're not engaged, and I think we're just like dating. So I moved in with him and his dad, and then we started looking for houses a little bit more seriously, but still like, it's okay. We don't have to like, if nothing pans out right now, that's fine. But literally in July, we find the perfect house, and we go through the process and we close on the house within like by the end of July, and we moved into this house where we are right now. We moved in by August 2023. And then literally 2 days after we moved into this house, I had to have major surgery. I had to have a myomectomy because I had fibroids. So it's just been like a roller coaster. For the record, so we moved into this house. We bought a house together. We moved in, me, him, and his dad. We moved in, and then I had to have surgery. We're just dating. We're not engaged. We're not married. We're just dating, right? We've obviously like at this point already had conversations about our future because like we're looking for a house together, right? So that's a conversation that you're like, oh, I love you, blah blah blah. Anywho, oh guys. So I have surgery, and I come back home, and oh my god, he was just an angel. So the doctor's like, I need help when I get out of bed. And sometimes I feel guilty, right? Because he's in the office working and I need to pee. So I'll try and get out of bed by myself. But I have stitches in my abdomen. So he'll find me like trying to get out of bed by myself, and he'll get so mad. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't want to like call you from the office. But yeah, okay. So in 2024, February, he proposed to me. Well, not this ring, this is my travel ring, but he proposed to me and I say yes. Uh, sorry. And then we got married in June the same year. So we just wanted like a small wedding, which was just like with his family, because my family couldn't like come here because then I'd only have to like settle for like one or two people, which just didn't make sense like economically. So we'll just have like a small wedding here for his family. We'll have like a small one for my family, like when we eventually get there, right? So we have the wedding, and it was so much more beautiful than I thought it would be. It was so fun. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. So we didn't have a reception. We kind of had the ceremony at a venue we really liked, and then we just had people come back to the house because it wasn't that many people, so it didn't make sense to pay like thousands of dollars for a reception area, which is like limited to a specific time, etc. So we're like, let the people just come back to the house. And it turned out to have been like the best decision ever because it was such a beautiful wedding, guys. Oh my god. Like getting my dress was such a roller coaster. But so now the hope and the plan is like we go to Namibia and then have a traditional ceremony there. And it's so exciting. It's so exciting. It's so nerve wracking. But man, guys, I love this man. I get so like embarrassed when I talk about it. I remember my aunt texted me. She called me, I think, or she texted me, and she was like, "On samane wo hopweri." No, man, I was so embarrassed because I was like, the phrase "on samane wo" just sounds so serious, like it sounds so grown up, and I was like, nope, you have to use a different word. You can't use that word. But like while we've like known each other for about only 4 years, it just feels like we've known each other for forever, but we are still constantly like learning new things about each other, and it is such a healthy relationship. And this is, I blame him by the way, because I gained so much weight since we met, because it's called like happy weight when you're happy. So you're not like concerned about like, I don't know, but I'm just like so happy and so comfortable and like at peace. I don't know. It just, yeah, you don't understand. I love this man and it just, ooh, child. Oh my god. Yeah, I have a husband now and I am just completely in love with him. And he is amazing. He is just everything and yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, that is basically our love story. Our love story. But it is so bizarre, like we live together and there's this person whom I would give my life up for in a heartbeat. Like if he needed an organ, I would not even question it. Like I would do anything for him. And like just having the person who I know without a doubt he would like take on the world for me is I don't know, it feels so surreal at times, and but it's also so like amazing. I don't know, it just like I think about it sometimes. We would be laying in bed or just like talking and I'd be like, babe, we're married, like for real, for real. And it still does not feel real, sometimes I still just someone would refer to me as Mrs. and I'll be like, oh shit, that's true. But yeah, that's basically our love story. And yeah, wow, yo guys, I'm a gone girl. I'm a gone girl. I can't. So it's been 11 hours now since I started doing my hair. I did take a break between 4 to 6 to go make dinner, have dinner, and then come back. But it took me a total of about 9 hours to do my hair, which honestly, guys, yo, it's a lot. I'm tired. And because I used the rubber band method, my head hurts. But I'm going to put oil and then I'm going to put like a serum on it, which calms my scalp. So that should relieve the pain. I'm going to try and cut some rubber bands now that the braids are in as well, just so I can relieve the tension because I already have cramps. I can't have a headache on top of my cramps. But yeah, that is how I became Mrs. Valentine. I swear to God, it keeps moving to the side. Which, oh, last thing, right? So when I was looking for my wedding dress, I put my engagement ring in my backpack. And then I got in the Uber to go home and I thought I lost it. And I kept looking for it. I'm like, oh my God, I lost my engagement ring. I was like, I dropped it. I dropped it in the store and like it's gone. And it turns out I found it in my backpack. So since that day, I've been so anxious like to wear my engagement ring that I had to get a travel ring. Well, this is my home ring, and then I have a travel ring, which and they differ in value, but not as valuable as my real engagement ring because I just can't wear it anymore because it makes me so anxious. So like once in a while, I'll take it out of the box and then I'll put it on. I'll be like, so pretty. And then I'll take it off and then I'll put it back in the box. And then I'll put on my home ring or my travel ring, depending on where I'm going or if I'm just home. And I'm done. I just have to put some accessories on it, some gold beads, and then finish the ends. But I did that. Oh my god, guys. Like, look at the line. That is insane. I don't even know if that video really showed anything. But yeah. So now I'm gonna put on the gold beads because he really loved those. And done. Thank you guys so much for watching. So from now on, I will be posting like basically my daily life content. And my favorite type of content that I will be posting will be like cooking, because I have begun to cook. Like, I cook so much that I once told my siblings I was cooking and they were like, "What has marriage done to you?" They did not say it in a Nigerian accent, obviously. But they were like, "What? You cooking?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm shocked too." And I paint like the house, like I paint stuff around the house. It's just, I'm very excited to start like sharing my home projects, cooking, anything when I try new recipes, my workout routines, because I'm starting to be a bit more active at the gym. So I'm very excited to share all that with you guys, and thank you so much for staying. I can't wait to share more. Mrs. Valentine, out.